Jeffa, thanks for joining us today. Good to see you. Good to see your cough is not so bad, and it is January, so we can expect the cold weather to. I bet it's cold in Cornwall at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a little bit icy the last few days. Bit of a little scattering of snow on the ground, but it hasn't really stuck around.
Yeah. Are you getting out there on the waves, or is it just too cold?
Over Christmas, there was a really good run of swell of like longboarding waves. It was absolutely freezing, but we had a couple of sunny days. So have braved it a few times. It's gone a little bit onshore now. So now we're sort of gearing up to go abroad somewhere warm, to be honest.
Right. Well, let's look at what you're about then. So we're talking to Jeffa, and you are part of the Surf Sistas.
Yeah.
Community, you might want to call it, I suppose. If you don't mind, give me a sense of what is Surf Sistas. When did it get going? What sort of is it really? How do you function as a community?
Yeah, of course. So Surf Sistas has been running for a pretty long time. It started off about 22 years ago now, so around 2003, and it was a group of landlocked Londoners who were taking trips down to the coast on the weekends together, and putting the feelers out there to other Londoners to come down, and they were organising surfing trips in Cornwall, and then it started branching out to going abroad. And what the people who were running at the time, Kate, who is still the owner of Surf Sistas, was one of these people, realised is most of the people that booked onto the trips were women. It's normally sometimes all the people on the course were women. So she started to realise that actually there was sort of a gap there that needed to be addressed, where maybe women were booking more onto these trips because they found that they needed more of the supportive environment, a curated experience. And when they were on these trips, she also noticed there was quite a disproportionately small number of women in the water just generally. So that's how Surf Sistas first started, is just noticing that perhaps more women are wanting to get into surfing, perhaps they don't know how, and let's offer something where women can come together as a group, learn to surf, go on trips. And from that, it's sort of flourished into this really, really cool supportive community where we run trips and courses and retreats, and where women can meet like-minded women, come together, learn to surf. It's very supportive. It's very confidence boosting. You get a lot of the technicals, but most of all, it's just a really, really sort of fun way to learn to surf.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So, like a lot of these things, they sort of appear as an idea, as opposed to someone starts out thinking this should be the idea.
Yeah.
And she's found that way of, or you all have now, that what would you call it from my point of view? Would you call it creating a safe space for women to explore what they want to do, or is that the right terminology? How would you view that?
I would say, I would say it's a safe space, but like primarily I'd say like fun and supportive. Like it's definitely safe in terms of like the ocean is something that we all need to very much respect, and it can be a little bit unknown, and you sort of, approach it with a bit of trepidation. So we do create that safe environment in order to access the ocean. And also on the other side of it, the women that come to us, sometimes they find it quite intimidating in terms of the sort of perhaps the energetics and the dynamics of people interacting in the water and surfing. So that's why they come to us, to have that sort of group space where they can feel like a little bit less intimidated.
Yeah, makes total sense. I think it's a great concept. And you've got a sort of spin-off from that, which is sort of the swimming version of, which I presume is a smaller branch to it. But as we work in the swimming sector as well, maybe just a few words on that. Did that come out of Surf Sistas as a natural extension, if you like, to what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the thing that's really lovely about Surf Sistas is everything that has evolved through like the last 20 years. It's always been very organic and very much based on what we see out there that we feel like women might need, or when women come to us, what they're asking for in a course or a trip. And we ourselves have got really into sea swimming, just going for a dip, a cold water swim. And we've again met a community of other women, say in Cornwall, that do that as well. And so again, it naturally evolved in something that was a passion of ours, and something that we wanted to put on as something as a course that we'd want to go on ourselves, essentially. So that's where sort of Swim Sisters has evolved, through that sort of natural love of sea swimming, and then wanting to, again, to encourage other women to be able to access sea swimming. Perhaps they just go for a sea dip occasionally, and they might want to be able to do a little bit more long distance swimming, or understand sort of oceanography to be able to swim safely, and to be able to assess conditions, to be able to go out on a longer swim and use equipment. So that's what we started doing, is running courses and retreats where we, for Swim Sisters, offer short dips, but also swims up to about 2 kilometers long, again in Cornwall, which is our main sort of home base, and overseas as well. So that's a really, really exciting venture. Again, it's smaller to Surf Sisters that we've been doing in the last few years, but yeah, we're really excited to see where that goes in the next couple of years.
Yeah, so it's a good one, but I can see there's a slight difference, I think, between swimming and surfing in my mind, is that swimming, you do need to go with a team or a guide or a group, because if you're out at the sea for an hour or two, swimming away from shore, or exploring coves, you sort of need that support. Whereas I see, maybe, and I might be wrong, surfing, you can probably do most of it on your own. You can just be a single person going out on a morning to surf. Would that be correct, or is that still something you wouldn't recommend?
I think it depends with surfing, like sort of the individual's level of confidence and level of ability. Like as a surfer, are you able to go down to a beach in the morning and look at the conditions and be like, right, there's a rip current there are rocks there looks like there's a nice peak there. And also, if you are on your own in the sea, are you able to sort of handle the conditions on your own independently? So that's always something that we do with our clients, on the surf courses, is be able to get them to a point where they can do conditions assessments. They can assess whether they're confident and happy to go out on their own. But again, at the same time, what you have with the surfing as opposed to swimming is surfing takes place in a sort of a beach environment, or maybe off on a reef. But, you know, for the sake of Cornwall, it's a beach, and the exit point's normally a little bit more quick and easy. If you're tired, you can normally just catch a wave on your tummy and get in. And there's normally people on the beach. There's normally other people in the water. But yeah, I do agree with the swimming. You're often going around coves, around to bays that are a bit more remote. There's less easy sort of egress from the water. So having a group to be able to go with is definitely really, really important. For me personally, if I'm very happy surfing on my own, whereas for a swim, unless I know the spot really, really well and I'm really, really confident with the conditions, I would have a preference to definitely go with someone.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, okay, that's a good point of view. Thanks. So I obviously know some of your trips coming up, and they sound great. You've got Sri Lanka happening at the end of January, and you're all out there for about 3 weeks or so, for two different sessions. And then you've got something happening in Spain. These trips sound great. What's the purpose sort of behind those trips? What's the structure of them?
The structure. So, I mean, we operate in Cornwall primarily through the spring, summer, but then we go on these trips globally through the winter. And whatever courses we're running in Cornwall in terms of surf progression, we are wanting to replicate that abroad, being able to take women to places like Spain and Sri Lanka and Morocco, and be able to help them progress with their surfing. So they're really, really tailored to small group coaching, to the individual, making sure that we're sort of identifying their individual surfing needs and what they want to be getting out of a week. But also it's that next step of being able to have a little bit more of an adventure and go and explore somewhere completely different through the medium of surfing. So, you know, we're going to Morocco and we're not just going surfing, we're going to local markets, we're going sort of off-road to find some secret like cove to go surfing in. We're you know, taking women to go and see like these beautiful like rock formations and archways. So not only is it sort of that confidence boost in the surf side of things, but it's also, again, just exploring as a group, and perhaps women that maybe wouldn't, you know, have the confidence again to go on their own, or actually just prefer a group dynamic. There's a really great way to go and surf abroad, especially because, you know, you get used to maybe surfing in the UK if you're from the UK, for example, but you might go to Morocco or Spain and not really know the setup of the waves, not really know where to start. So we're there with our sort of local knowledge, having been to those places before, to be able to help you find really exciting waves and places to surf.
Yeah, it's great. Well, it's like it's building confidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's building
absolutely.
a resilience and confidence in the people
Yeah,
that go with you. Yeah, that's lovely. I think they sound really great trips actually.
yeah,
And I've done a few swimming kind of trips, but generally I go on my own and sort of find someone on the beach and say, "Do you want to just join me?" But I
yeah.
think an organized trip is a bit easier actually, because everything's sort of planned for you really.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. We try and make it so that, you know, you can book your course, you know, you book your flights, and then we take care of the rest, so to speak. And you know, the trips we do abroad, we don't really have a cookie cutter for them, in the terms of, we're not just replicating surf retreats in every different country. We're looking at where we're going, what we want to explore, and tailoring it to where we are. So for example, in Morocco, we took our clients on a road trip, so we went to 3 different locations to explore the surf. In Sri Lanka, it's a bit more mechanical there with the way the conditions work through the day. So we're offering more of a surf and yoga retreat. Costa Rica, we go on a road trip again. So we're really trying to do things like really tailored to where we're going, and not using like a cookie cutter to basically
yeah,
make our trips. It's really fun. It's really good fun.
I'm sure it is. So give me an example there, I suppose. Have you had someone who's joined you who nervous, not sure about it all, but you've seen them progress beyond where they even knew where their boundaries were or their capabilities were? Do you see that kind of thing? And it must be great if I'm sure you do see it. It must be
Mm.
great if you see that kind of thing happening, that
Yeah,
confidence building.
we really do. I mean, I think what I love about the trips is we get a lot of clients that return year on year, or we set up a new trip somewhere and they really want to come on it because they want to come and explore there with us. And I remember we had a client that joined us a couple of years ago on a beginner week in Cornwall. She'd never learned to surf, and she was just really up for it. And then she then came to Spain with us that autumn, and from going from the white water, was giving these sort of 3-4 foot waves a go and really giving it her all. And then the following year she comes to us with Sri Lanka, and then she's surfing reef for the first time and paddling out in these long channels to get over reef, and sort of navigating like 6 a.m. wake ups to go and surf, and yeah, being really critical of the conditions and just giving everything a go. So that's one example. And yes, she's now like sort of surfing green waves pretty consistently when she goes surfing. But we do see that a lot, and it's one of the things I absolutely love about this job is seeing the journey people go on. Or you might even just teach someone once, and the next thing you see them in the water at Watergate in Cornwall when you're just going for your own surf, and they're like, "Oh, I've moved down here, and I'm still doing it. I absolutely love it." So yeah, just sharing that love for surfing and seeing how far people sort of come with surfing in their own sort of confidence, that has maybe stemmed from us supporting them on a course. It's yeah, it's really rewarding, and it's
Yeah,
really great to see.
yeah, I bet. No, it's great. It's lovely. I love that sort of stuff. It's brilliant. That's lovely. I mean, I suppose the last point then is just what does the future hold for Surf Sisters? Where do you want to take what you might call a brand? I know you don't maybe view that, but where do you want to take the community you've developed? What's the, say, 5-year plan there? Do you have ideas around that?
Yeah, I mean, the next 5 years, we're really excited for the swim side. We feel like that's something that's been sort of born out of the sort of COVID time. That's when we sort of started doing it, but obviously it was a little bit limited then, and we're starting to grow it a lot, and we're getting a lot more interest in that. So we're really excited to explore some new locations abroad and in Cornwall, to be able to offer some swim retreats. We're looking at, again, some new locations for surfing. We're always quite responsive, so we do move our locations a fair amount with the surfing. So we might run a trip for a couple of years and then decide that perhaps it's some time to offer something a little bit different, a little bit new. We offer pop-up explore series, which is something we've been doing the last year that we want to continue, where we're doing one-off off the beaten path trips. So that started with really remote corners of northern Spain, or even going back to Morocco on a road trip, just doing surf travel a little bit differently, to perhaps escape the crowds or be able to explore somewhere completely new. That's something we're looking more into. And yeah, just growing Surf Sisters as a community in general. We've got a few ideas of maybe like non-retreat stuff that we want to do, sort of a watch this space kind of thing. It's all lots of ideas, but what yeah, we're just very creative over here. We've always got things that we want to do, and with the platform and with our community, so we're just going to see how those all evolve, really.
That's great. Lovely. Thank you. That's brilliant. Good chat.